प्लीना फाइनेंस के बारे में कुछ बताइए. What problem you guys are solving?
What happens when you're using Plena is you pay 30% less fee in comparison to MetaMask as well.
Powered by देसी क्रिप्टो. नमस्कार दोस्तों, क्रिप्टो वाले भाई के इस चैनल में आपका स्वागत है. और आज हमारी टीम आ चुकी है टेडिफाई के इवेंट के अंदर और हमारे साथ प्लीना फाइनेंस के सीईओ यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं. तो ये अपने इंट्रोडक्शन खुद देंगे. तो सर, सबसे पहले आप अपना नाम बताइए.
स्पर्श.
ओके. और मुझे जानना है कि आपने अपनी क्रिप्टो की या ब्लॉकचेन की जर्नी कब शुरू करी, मतलब सबसे पहले इस सेक्टर को कब एक्सप्लोर करा आपने?
आई वुड से स्टार्ट किया था क्लोज टू 2017 व्हेन आई वाज इन कॉलेज. तो उस टाइम पे वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड टोल्ड मी दैट आई शुड इन्वेस्ट इन बिटकॉइन एंड आई इन्वेस्टेड इन बिटकॉइन, ट्रिपल्ड माई मनी. एंड उसके बाद क्या हुआ था कि लाइक आई गॉट क्यूरियस अबाउट द टेक्नोलॉजी, व्हाट बिटकॉइन इज़, व्हाट ब्लॉकचेन इज़.
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, पर मेरे को जानना है, यू मेंशन इन कॉलेज, सो आपका बैकग्राउंड क्या है यार? डेवलपर, मार्केटिंग?
So I'm a developer only, so I'm from IT industry. So I did my BTech from MSIT, IP University, and that's why I was more curious about like this whole blockchain technology. I started working as a blockchain developer as well for a couple of companies when I was in college, and then I started consulting a lot of companies once after I graduated.
So ये सब 2017-18 में ही हो रहा था?
Start मैंने 2017 में कर दिया था, but like to work on major projects, right, जो थे इंडस्ट्री में, to launch applications, वो था 2018 में.
और फिर 2018, 2019, 20 आज हम 2023 में खड़े हैं. तो आप मार्केट के साथ स्टिक रहे या फिर बीच में ऑन एंड ऑफ रहा? इस बारे में कुछ बताइए.
आई वुड से कि तब से तो इन्वेस्टिंग, आई एम ऑल्सो इन्वेस्टिंग माई सेल्फ फॉर अ वाइल नाउ, एंड आई थिंक स्टिल द होल इंडस्ट्री इज़ इन an infant phase because we see large institutions coming up, right? They're investing in crypto now. We see BlackRock as well, but we still need more and more retail users to invest in crypto. And abhi, I think last time as well we saw close to 140 million people invested in crypto, right? But they weren't using dApps or these I would say self-custodial wallets, and they weren't even investing in, I would say, majority of the coins as well. They were mostly investing in, I would say, Bitcoin, Ethereum and Dogecoins, which whatever was most popular back then. So I think abhi yeah, I'm still investing and still looking for new projects to invest in.
Okay. और मेरे को ये जानना है कि प्लीना फाइनेंस के बारे में कुछ बताइए. वी रिसेंटली सॉ दैट ट्विटर के ऊपर निश्चल शेट्टी ने जब लिखा था कि प्लीना फाइनेंस, सो दैट्स हाउ आई केम टू नो कि यार प्लीना फाइनेंस. और या फिर पैनलिस्ट में नाम भी सुना दैट हु आर द पीपल हु हैव रेज्ड द फंड्स. सो इन्होंने हाथ उठाया, फिर ये स्टेज पे गए. सो क्रेजी. तो बताइए प्लीना फाइनेंस के बारे में, दैट व्हाट प्रॉब्लम यू गाइज आर सॉल्विंग.
Sure. So I told you, like in the last bull run as well, there were so many people who were, I would say, investing in crypto, buying crypto, but they didn't know how to use self-custodial wallets. So if I tell you, like you're keeping your funds in a centralized exchange, and those, most of them are insolvent, right? They trade with your funds, they do anything with your funds, invest in other assets, and they don't have the money that you, all of the users have kept there. Now what happens is, if we saw what happened with FTX, right?
Exactly.
And after people started withdrawing funds, so the whole exchange crashed.
द बैंक रन जिसको बोलते हैं वो क्रिप्टो में हुआ एक्चुअली.
Exactly, yeah. And उसके बाद क्या हुआ था कि if you knew कि there was an option like self custody, you would definitely go towards it, right? You would start using a self custodial wallet because it's a no-brainer. But the problem that the users face while using self custodial wallets is that it's pretty confusing. For me it was pretty easy because I learned everything.
इट्स अ हैसल ब्रो. मेटामास्क वॉलेट, उसके सीक्रेट की, फिर फैंटम वॉलेट, फिर ट्रस्ट वॉलेट, 25 तो वॉलेट हो गए, प्लस जो न्यू ब्लॉकचेन्स आ रही हैं उनके वॉलेट्स. सो मैं अभी भी यही बोलता हूँ कि हम लोगों को अभी भी लिटरली मौत आती है कि कैसे इतने वॉलेट्स को मेंटेन करें, और फिर हम सोचते हैं हमारे पेरेंट्स को हम सिखा देंगे. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल. सो बताइए कुछ.
Yes, so we were tackling these problems. So let's say if a user creates their own account, right? Let's say a MetaMask account. तो पहले तो, as you said, private key का problem होता है. So a lot of users do lose their private key. I lost my private key as well, although it was a test account. It didn't have much funds, but like we saw that this is a major problem, right? And then on top of that, we see that it's pretty confusing as well, because if I send you 10,000 USDT or new to crypto, you see that you have 10,000 USDT in your MetaMask wallet, right? But still you won't be able to send it to anyone, because you would need ETH Matic or some native token just to pay for the gas fees, right? And then on top of that, if you want to, let's say, buy a token from a decentralized exchange, you see that there's this new token launching and you want to buy that token, because these tokens get listed on a centralized exchange way later when they've, I would say, gone up by 10, 20x or 100x, right?
ये हमारी ऑडियंस समझदार है.
Yes. Cool. Okay. So yes. So उसके लिए भी like if I'm buying something on a DEX, I would have to do 2 transactions, which is also not that safe because जो first transaction आप करते हो, like the users do. So उसमें क्या होता है कि the exchange asks for infinite approval. So what happens is once you give that exchange DEX infinite approval, they can deduct funds from your MetaMask wallet without you having to sign anything. And the next thing is actually the swap transaction, and वो approval process इसलिए होता है क्योंकि जो next time अगर आप swap करो, so it's easier for you, right? And what Plena does is Plena solves all of this right from the beginning. So you can create your account with by logging in from Gmail, Twitter, Facebook, or even Apple ID, and you don't have to worry about private key. I use this solution myself as well because honestly it's much more easier for me because even if I lose my device, I'll just get a new device, log in again, and I'll get my funds back. Then on top of that, users don't need to hold any native token, right? So let's say I'm using Polygon for now. I don't have to buy Matic to pay for the transaction fee. Let's say अगर मेरे को किसी को I have to send you USDT. I'll be able to pay for the transaction fee in USDT. If I have to buy wrap Bitcoin on Polygon, I would be able to buy it easily. And the best part is, so when I move my funds from let's say Polygon to let's say BNB, I see that there's a new meme coin coming up, right? And I want to invest in it. So what would happen is I can simply transfer my USDT to BNB. I won't have to go there or wait to transfer BNB as well just to pay for the transaction fees. What I'll do is I'll just use the USDT to pay for the transaction fee and buy whatever token I need. Also, I can do, I would say, much complex activities as well, right? So one of the things that we launched before with our partners was LP staking. So what happens in LP staking is that like you provide liquidity to I would say a pool on a DEX. Let's say if I want to provide liquidity to USDC USDT pair, right? Which is I would say a much better option in comparison to Aave because Aave पे you see that the interest rates are so low, right? And on
हमेशा impermanent loss में ही रहता है आदमी.
वो हाँ उस पे yes impermanent loss is a thing, but yeah if you're going on stable ones, right? I think that's a much better option on DEXs as well. But liquidity provide कैसे करनी है वो बहुत ज़्यादा difficult होता है. So if I have let's say DAI, I go to let's say QuickSwap to provide liquidity. मेरे को swap करने पड़ेंगे 50% of my DAI to USDC, 50% to USDT. And those two are 4 transactions, then I would have to approve those 2 tokens again for 2 more transactions. Those are 6, and then 1 more transaction just to provide liquidity, right? And ये कोई user करेगा नहीं obviously. No one would wait for the first transaction to go through, then he'll do the second one and the third one, right? So we wanted to provide our users a much easier user experience. So हमारे app के through they were able to provide liquidity with one single tap and paying the transaction fee in USDT as well.
सो काफ़ी क्रेजी सॉल्यूशन है. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कॉन्ग्रेट्स फॉर दिस कि आप ऐसा कुछ बिल्ड कर रहे हो जिसकी जब भी हमारे को बात आती है ना कि हमारे को एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्टेटमेंट चाहिए कि आप यूज़र को गैस फीस रखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो उसी में से ही डिडक्ट हो सकता है. सो क्या वो नॉमिनल भी होगा? बिकॉज जब भी हम देखते हैं इस तरीके के स्वैप्स, अब मेटामास्क के अगर हम देख रहे हैं कि मेटामास्क पे स्वैप का फीचर है पर वो क्रेजी फीस चार्ज कर रहा है ना, और लोग कर भी रहे हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि एयर ड्रॉप की उम्मीद है. दैट्स द हार्ड ट्रूथ. सो तो चलती वीडियो के बीच में मैं कहाँ से आ गया? मैं बस आपको यही बताने आया हूँ कि क्रिप्टो वाली टीम को आपका सपोर्ट चाहिए. हमारे 1000 सब्सक्राइबर कंप्लीट हो गए हैं और हम 2000 सब्सक्राइबर की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं. तो वीडियो को लाइक करें और शेयर करें ऐसे लोगों के साथ जो इस फील्ड के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं, बिकॉज हम लोग उनको बेस्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड करें. तो आइए चलते हैं वापस इंटरव्यू की तरफ. आप लोग जो फीस चार्ज करेंगे उसके बारे में ऑब्वियसली हम बाद में डिटेल शेयर करेंगे, पर आई होप वो नॉमिनल हो, बिकॉज कोई भी यूज़र यही सोचेगा रैदर देन जस्ट बिकॉज कि वो एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिस ना करे. सो वहाँ पे उसको ये ना लगे कि वो लूटेड हो रहा है. इससे अच्छा तो मैं एक्सचेंज के ऊपर जाकर वो कर लूँ. सो एक जस्टिफाइड मैनर के अंदर आप वो चार्ज करेंगे तो आई वुड से कि वो पूरी कम्युनिटी के लिए और इंडस्ट्री के लिए बहुत रेवोल्यूशनरी होगा.
So yes, I would like to say that what happens when you're using Plena is you pay 30% less fee in comparison to MetaMask as well. Because what we do is we batch the transactions and send them together. So when you send a transaction to a blockchain, you have to pay a base fee, right? And when you're sending let's say 1 transaction instead of 7 or 8, you're obviously saving that gas fee as well. So obviously when you use Plena, you would be paying far less fee in I would say much more complex transactions as well. And obviously if you're using for transfer or something else, let's say swapping, then obviously you're saving some fees as well on that.
So you mentioned कि वो जो ट्रांजेक्शन है वो बैचेज में होएगी, बट उसके अंदर फिर वो टाइम इशू मतलब अच्छा वो उसी समय होएगी, बट वो जितनी भी ट्रांजेक्शन उस पर्टिकुलर टाइम पे होगी वो बैचेज में जाएगी. सो वी कैन सेव ऑन द गैस फीस.
So what happens is, let's say I told you about the swap thing, right? So the first is the approval transaction, the second is the swap transaction. transaction, and this happens in all the DeFi applications, right? So instead of sending those two transactions separately, we just batch them and send as one transaction. So on blockchain, it's easy, like our contracts implement that logic, and instead of doing that into, you're just doing it in one simple transaction, and it's saving your time as well.
So चलो अब मेन इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ ये है कि हमारे को गैस फीस का टेंशन ख़त्म हो गया. अब हमने बात करते हैं सिक्योरिटी की, क्योंकि मेटामास्क पे सीक्रेट की हमने कितनी भी संभाल के रख रखी हो, एक गलत डैप द फंड्स आर गॉन. तो उसके लिए आप कुछ कर रहे हैं या नहीं कर रहे हैं?
Exactly. So we do have a few competitors as well, and what they're doing is, let me tell you what happened, right? So we launched our own account abstraction SDK as well. So we want different dApps to provide a similar user experience like us, but we're not charging those dApps anything, first of all, right? And the second thing is, like a lot of our competitors also came up. So we have been doing this for, I would say, since 2021. And Vitalik wrote a paper on the same technology in 2022. So I would say we were doing this a year before Vitalik wrote about it. And जो different account abstraction solutions है, I wouldn't name them, and जो they came after us, but they came up with their own, I would say, SDK, right? And the problem is, so in our case, your key stays in the, I would say, in your wallet, right? Which is encrypted all the time, and it's only decrypted when you're signing a transaction, and that too when you do a biometric verification or you enter the key, right? And apart from that, it's always encrypted. Now what happens when you use these other, I would say, account abstraction solutions on different apps, so they give you a feature like login with Gmail or Twitter, right? But हमारे में तो है कि like your private keys are safe. But what happens there, you log in there, you have they have access to your account, they have access to your keys as well. And if you go to a different app, right, you see that there's this new project, maybe it's fake, right? And they're doing some crazy airdrop. You just go there, you just connect with your Google account, so now they have access to your private key if you're using a different solution than ours. Now uske liye to, like for those hackers, it's pretty easy. They get access to your private key, they get access to your account, they can drain your whole account, right? But when you use our account abstraction solution, or when you connect to different apps via our Plena wallet, so your private key stays there inside the mobile application, so you're not exposing your private key, and that, I would say, in that way it's much more safer as well.
और काफ़ी अमेजिंग चीज़ है कि आप सारी चीज़ों के ऊपर वर्क ऑन कर रहे हो. एक चीज़ आपने और मेंशन करी थी कि जब भी हम मेटामास्क वॉलेट यूज़ करते हैं तो उसके अंदर जब भी हम ट्रांजैक्शन का अप्रूवल देते हैं तो वो हमेशा अनलिमिटेड अमाउंट का वो अप्रूवल ले लेता है. तो क्या उस चीज़ को लेकर भी आप लिमिट लगा सकते हैं कि जब भी हम ट्रांजैक्शन करें वो इतने की करें, पर उसके अंदर फिर ये इशू होगा कि हर बार हमारे को अप्रूवल के लिए गैस फीस देनी पड़ेगी. सो इसको आई वुड से कि आप लोग इस चीज़ को भी फिगर आउट करो कि वो कैसे, मतलब कल को आने वाले टाइम में हम उस चीज़ को भी बैक एंड फोर्थ हैंडल कर सकें.
So we are handling that. So हमारी ऐप के अंदर तो हो ही रहा है, but with our account abstraction SDK as well, we're giving different apps example as well. And it doesn't happen with MetaMask only. It happens with all the other wallets that you use. And also one more thing, we're backed by Consensus as well, the team that built MetaMask. Okay. So and we're also connected to the MetaMask team as well, and they're pretty helpful in all the things, right? They help us with the tech stuff as well, and we would be launching really soon on Linear. And we would be doing some really crazy marketing stuff with the Consensus team as well. So your users can actually follow us as well.
It's give a, I would say, जो एक ट्रस्ट और अश्योरेंस होता है ना कि जब आपके साथ बैक कंसेंसस खुद है, सो वो उस, मैं कहूँगा उससे बड़ी बात ही नहीं हो सकती, क्योंकि यार ये जो प्रोडक्ट बिल्ड हो रहा है ये हो रहा है यूज़र्स के लिए, उनको एक्चुअल में यूज़ करना है. सो दैट्स द ग्रेट थिंग. आई वुड से कि कोई एंडिंग नोट हमारी ऑडियंस के लिए, व्यूअर्स के लिए, कि अभी भी जो स्पेस को देख रहे हैं, एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं और वो कुछ में कूद नहीं रहे, तो उसको एक्सप्लोर करें. प्लस जो इतने भी लोगों के अभी तक उन्होंने इशू फेस करे ट्रांजेक्शन्स के टाइम पर, ये वाले, तो उनके लिए भी सब कुछ.
Sure. So I would say that it's a really good time to invest in crypto, because I think one of the things that I liked was I was able to invest in companies which aren't based out of India, because that happens in the stock market, right? Because you can only invest in I would say Indian stocks, Indian company stocks. And in crypto, it's pretty easy. You can just buy those cryptocurrencies, I would say, pretty easily if you go to a different exchange. And if you like this project, which is built by, let's say, someone from US, someone from Germany, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to set up your account, pretty easy to buy it. And it's really important that they move their funds from centralized exchanges to self-custodial wallet, because I would say these centralized exchanges also know about this problem, and they also know that there's this flaw as well, right? So what happens with these crypto exchanges, I think it's best if I explain, right? Yeah. So what happens is, like for example, there's a exchange, let's say XYZ, right? Now it has billions of dollars. Now those billions of dollars are stored in just 7, 8 or 10 accounts, which are similar to MetaMask accounts. Now what happens is one account gets hacked, millions of users will lose their funds. right? And which is, I would say, unsafe way to store your funds on a platform. So it's much better if you store your funds on a self-custodial wallet like Plena, because now we've made it simple. We are giving you a simpler user experience like a centralized exchange, but also giving you the security of a self-custodial wallet as well.
So ये कब लॉन्च हो रहा है, मतलब इसका ऐप अभी बेटा वर्जन में है, वेबसाइट है, इसके बारे में कुछ बताइए.
So we're live. We have more than 170,000 users, and more than 150 dApps have also integrated Plena Finance. And on top of this, we are live on close to 6 chains now, and we would be launching really soon on, as I said, Lenia and some really amazing other chains as well.
So it's been a pleasure कि ऐसे प्रोडक्ट या ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट को इंटरव्यू करना जो इतना बड़ा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर बनने वाला है. एंड ऑफ कोर्स आपके साथ इतने काफ़ी सारे कंसेसेस हो गया या इनिशियल सेट हो गए, वो लोग भी आपके साथ है, तो होपफुली जो प्रोडक्ट निकल कर आएगा या फिर जो आने वाले टाइम के अंदर यूज़र्स ऑन बोर्ड होंगे उनके लिए एक बहुत बड़ी आई वुड से राहत की सांस मिलेगी. सो इट्स बीन अ प्लेजर. थैंक यू सो मच. ओके, साइनिंग ऑफ. पावर्ड बाय देसी क्रिप्टो.